When or how humanity started its starfaring civilization and colonized other planets is unknown. No records remain about it survive in the 41st millennium. Anyway, they did, and they made contact with aliens shortly after. Unlike the current Imperium, humanity wasn't so hostile against aliens back then, so there were some peaceful encounters. But of course, there were wars too. Earth, the cradle of humanity, and Mars, the first terraformed planet, were the shining hub of technological innovation and scientific learning. And so mankind started their journey to a shining, bright future. The time period, from M1 to M15, is called the Age of Terra, and M15 to M25 is called the Age of Technology. Before mankind developed faster than light vessels, they used sublight ones that took generations to get anywhere. Their colonies had to be self-sufficient, of course. Some of these worlds became the night worlds we know today. Then the invention of the warp engines in M18 changed everything. They allow a vessel to enter a bizarre dimension called the warp. The warp isn't bound by the physical laws of the material world, so through it, a distance that would conventionally take generations can be traversed in a matter of months. Warp travel is significantly riskier than sublight travel, however. The warp is so dangerous that many gruesome disasters set the invention back, with many vessels outright disappearing or worse. But eventually, the technology was perfected, and by M22 navigators started to appear. These mutants with the unique navigator gene can see through the currents of the warp and guide a vessel to plot a course. This drastically boosted the effectiveness and safety of warp travel. Since the navigators are so essential and irreplaceable, they later formed the Navis Nova Light, aka the Navigator Houses. These houses have survived to this day and hold great political power in the Imperium. One of the greatest inventions during the Age of Technology was the STC, the Standard Template Construct. This miraculous system identifies the available resources and uses them to replicate a specific device, which can be anything from simple farming tools to great war machines. This allowed even the most remote colony at the far end of the galaxy to enjoy the technological boons of mankind without effort. Thanks to this and warp travel tech, humanity could expand rapidly. They also produced genetically modified gene troopers and thinking machines of vast intellect that administered to every need of colony worlds. Basically, it was the golden age of mankind. The first mentions of psychers appear around the end of M22. By late M23, they were observed in almost every human colony. Psychers did exist before that time, but these were the first official records. Anyway, the hopefully everlasting golden age of mankind abruptly came to an end. Significant factors devastated humanity. Firstly, the revolt of the thinking machines. Armies of mechanical soldiers marched against their creators and slaughtered billions. Since then, researching AI has been outright forbidden, and those who dare are tortured to death. This is why the Imperium never uses a proper AI anywhere. The second was genetic modifications. This had been one of the single greatest factors that had driven mankind's expansion. The ability to manipulate genes was popular and widespread. However, blinded by arrogance, humanity overlooked its risks. Unintended mutations consumed many people, and the following gene wars destroyed entire star systems. Last but not least, the Psychers too contributed to the downfall. Uncontrolled Psychers invoked warp storms and summoned demons that made many human worlds a living hell. As terrible as things became, humanity's strife was far from over. The entire galaxy was engulfed by immense warp storms the like it had never seen before. Interstellar travel became impossible, with worlds being isolated and cut off. The Age of Strife lasted from M25 to M30. Why did such great warp storms emerge? Well, it was because of the Eldari. When mankind just became a starfaring civilization, the Eldari were already the unmatched masters of the galaxy. They had nothing else to pursue anymore except for extreme sensual excess. So much so that the psychic energies of their debauchery birthed a chaos god. Slaanesh's birth generated torrents in the immaterium, causing warp storms across the galaxy. The isolated human worlds were devastated, as their populations were warped and mutated. Some planets were even devoured by the warp itself. Many aliens, even those that were former allies, took advantage of humanity's weakened state and invaded the distressed human colonies. The great legacies of the Golden Age, including the STCs, were lost beyond recovery. Most human civilizations sank back into a new dark age of barbarity, including Earth. These factors and the thousands of years of terror that followed permanently damaged the human psyche. Mistrust of curiosity, invention, aliens, and witches became practically instinctual. It was at this dark time that one very unique personage finally revealed himself. But that's a story for another time. I hope you enjoyed the lore comic. It's made by the talented Dong Gool Troll. I'll link his blog and Amazon page below. And as always, if you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing to our little channel to become a member of our ever-growing imperium of subscribers. Thank you. Until our next adventure.